Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome to the Hangin With Web Show. I'm GW Pomacher. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you go on down and hit subscribe for us so you can see more of these great creators, artists, authors, you name it. We've got it here on the Hangin With Web Show. We are here at Space Coast Comic-Con in Cocoa, Florida, and we are hanging with Christopher Burdett, a fantasy illustrator. I would say the fantasy illustrator for, but the list would go on and on and on.
There would be a couple things.
We wouldn't get to chat
No.
because they'd just be, we're gonna scroll some things over here, but games,
movies,
TV,
and more,
and so much more. I mean, this is great. So, I'll tell you what, only because it's just a hidden piece of trivia, and the World Wide Web already knows that everyone on the show, we are huge Whedon-verse fans, and we understand you got your start doing Buffy.
My start as a professional artist was working on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, and Firefly all at the same time.
Wow. Okay. So my kids at home are really jealous right now. So
it was just a job. That's the weird part about it is it was just a job. When was it? It was 2002. I got the call to come back out to LA after I had taken a hiatus from the West Coast, and my shop coordinator said, "Hey, we got all these cool shows. One's called Angel, one's called Buffy, one's called Firefly. You want to come back out and design demons and monsters?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds fun." And
all right, well, let's talk about the process of designing these. Now, one of the things that made Joss's work, I think, become so iconic was the visuals.
Yes.
It was the fact that the vampires and the demons were not something right out of already known aesthetics.
Definitely.
You guys created an aesthetic for that was unique.
Yeah.
What was that like? How do you reimagine a vampire? How do you reimagine a vampire?
Well, my boss, the owner of the company or the shop supervisor would come into the design room and said, "Well, you have about an hour and a half. Come up with something new and original we've never seen before. Go." And we would panic and frantically work, and we'd come up with some designs, and we would send them off to production, and production would say, yes, no, horrible, worst thing we've ever seen, best thing we've ever seen, and the dialogue would begin from there of, like, we need more horns, we need more angry brow, we need more teeth, we need less teeth, we need less horns, and they would kind of evolve.
So really a collaboration between storyteller and story shower.
Yeah, and so, sometimes they'd be like, we don't care about this, come up with anything you want, and we would come up with brand new thing. And sometimes we'd be like, we were really inspired by say Lord of the Rings that came out this summer. We'd really like you to give us an interpretation of Gollum. What would Gollum be like in the Buffyverse? And then we would have to come up with something, and like Joss Whedon would like Gnarl, the Gnarl demon from season 7 of Buffy that ate Allison Hannigan's stomach. Yes. I designed that, and one of the descriptions from Joss Whedon was he needs to have a nose like a wicked sausage. And so we had to interpret what a wicked sausage nose would be, and that's why he has this kind of this long, protruding, dangling nose.
Wow!
And it was a lot of that.
So you're likely responsible. Most people don't know that. People watch the show. They already know this. My brother's a filmmaker in L.A. He's a young actor. Mm-hmm. He runs an indie film company on the side. But one of his earlier roles was as an extra as a demon. On Angel. Horn, I believe, was the name of the demon. Don't Don't quote me.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, you probably designed my brother's.
I probably have met your brother.
You probably designed my brother's demon. That's awesome. So James, all that prosthetic makeup. This is the guy you got to play.
I was
one
of many people working on it.
He drew it, and somebody else stuck it on you. So that is fantastic. So also Star Wars games.
Yes, a lot of Star Wars games.
Star Wars games. Magic the Gathering.
Yes.
Big now.
Yeah.
Huge.
Well, it's been big for over 20 years.
Yeah, we saw Magic, and we've known about Magic for a long time.
Yeah.
I got to see its explosion in popularity.
Yeah.
I took some classes at our local college, some refresher classes, and all of the young college kids.
Mm-hmm.
There's like the entire student union is filled with kids playing Magic.
Yeah.
I assume it's on lunch break. Could be during class time. I don't know. So you're designing for a game universe. What's that like, man? We've got to just forewarning. We got to talk to guys, Troy Dennings, and those guys designing games from the story point of view.
Right.
Designing the visuals for games what's the distinction there? What makes that unique?
Well, typically, as an artist coming into a universe, we're given some sort of style guide where they have a team of artists have already built the world and have kind of set up styles and themes and visuals that will explain how this universe works.
Okay.
I've been on that side of things where for Dungeons and Dragons, for 4th edition and 5th edition, I've been part of the design team for the monster manual, so I've been part of the team that have redesigned monsters. So I've been assigned, redesign how this particular beholder will look now in this new universe, or how the Ankeg monster will look, and I have to re-visualize it. But say with Magic the Gathering, I'm given a very big document that explains everything, how everything will look, and then I have to create my creatures and my images based on that style guide. And most of the time, say with like Magic the Gathering, that's what I'm working from. But
now,
occasionally,
as an artist, do you find that limiting, or do you find it helpful to have that?
Oh, it's very helpful because it helps with the feedback process with the art directors, because they've already established parameters that I'm working in, and having parameters in many ways helps me create because I know my limits. I know the box that I'm kind of working in, and because if I'm given an assignment where it's like create brand new monster X, and it's like, well, I could create anything from this huge parameter of, it's like if I'm coming up with my brand new thing, it could be anything. But if they already say that, this universe, monsters will generally fall between this level and this level, so create something in here, I can begin to approach it and go, okay, this is the visual vocabulary that I'm starting with.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
It makes it a little easier.
What are you working on right now? Anything coming down the pipe?
Right now I'm working on more Star Wars.
Just
finished up some Star Wars, and I actually have several Magic the Gathering cards coming out.
Now, are you working on Star Wars game stuff, or
all games.
EU kind of?
No, it's all the Fantasy Flight games. So
awesome.
It's card games, role-playing games, board games, miniature games, all that stuff.
Man, that is fantastic. And so you have got to create and recreate some iconic monsters, from vampires and werewolves to and you've got to create some of your own characters, and certainly game characters within parameters.
Yes.
Any favorite monsters? Any favorite characters? What are your favorite thing to kind of work with?
I like reptiles and I like insects. So as long as
reptiles and insects.
Yes, and one of the classic Dungeons and Dragons monsters, the Ankeg, which is, if those who play the game know what it is, it's this big, giant insectoid.
If you guys
thing.
don't know what Dungeons and Dragons is, you haven't watched the show enough. Come back over and over again, because we talked to Troy, like episode 7.
Oh, right on.
We got to talk to Troy at Pensacon, and
I love Pensacon.
It is it's amazing, and moreover than that, this is the con. Everybody, Dungeons. This is that's like the birthplace of the modern pop culture, genre. I think for gaming.
Oh yeah.
In gaming, so that's a great favorite. Reptiles and insects.
Yeah.
Wow.
And also, if it has tentacles, I'm all about tentacles because I love. And when in doubt,
what's the game character? The Cthulhu.
Cthulhu. Oh
okay.
Yeah.
See, I've done my pop culture homework. I know stuff. Some.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Tentacles.
Okay. Well, as an artist working with these great monsters and demons and everything else, we're gonna put you in American Horror Story 2 seasons ago. We're gonna put you in the circus.
Okay.
Where are you gonna be? What are you gonna be doing in the circus?
A clown.
Clown.
The most horrifying of all monsters.
Yes.
Clown.
Yes. Stephen King did that to us.
Yes.
And it stuck.
Oh yeah, I love it.
And
Pennywise.
AHS did it to us again.
Yes.
So, wow. Okay. So we want to know, what is your least favorite household chore?
Oh. Well,
you can't fib. We're
no.
going to get it from behind the scenes,
well,
I can tell.
it is my complete responsibility, but I like it the least, is changing the cat box. Changing the kitty litter. But it is my responsibility to do.
But it is yours to do.
Yes, and I'll do it, but I don't like to do it.
Begrudgingly.
Yes.
Begrudgingly.
I assumed that role when I was dating my fiance, before she was a fiance, when she was just a girlfriend. I walked in and changed the cat box because it needed to be changed.
So that's part. That literally at that moment in time that was part of the prenup.
That was
the cat.
That's when I knew he was a keeper.
Yeah,
as a keeper, he did the cat box.
Yeah, that's when she realized that she was going to marry me, is when I changed the cat box.
Guys, the secret to dating success: look for that cat box. All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
And also take out the garbage.
Take out the garbage.
I did that too. I walked into her
I think
apartment.
that's the universal guy thing.
Yeah.
If we don't do that, we're automatically thrown out that day.
Yeah.
Well, we know you're a great artist, and we know it because we've been watching it for 15 years. We just didn't know it. Now we know who the guy behind the scenes is. What's your hidden talent?
Oh, wait. There's a bottle of water.
Oh, this is getting good. Okay, we have bottle of water coming to the set. Okay. All right.
Seriously? Okay.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Are you kidding me? Gone. Like that. You saw it here on the Hangin With Web Show. That's the hidden talent behind the art. That's how you stay up hours and hours and hours creating these things, because you can down a bottle of water like that.
Hydration is very important.
Artists create when the muse speaks.
No. Artists create because it's our job.
Okay, I like it. Your job, though, can keep you up early in the morning.
Yes.
It can keep you up late at night.
Yes.
What is the ultimate midnight snack? What's going to get you through when Joss wants a new drawing by morning?
Blueberries.
Blueberries. There are people all over the country that said, I knew that. I had to bring him blueberries. So, okay, so you're driving down the street, you're on your way to that next big gig. Mm-hmm. Radio's on. What are you singing along to?
The Beatles.
The Beatles.
Or They Might Be Giants.
Okay.
It's either or.
Somewhere in there. Okay. All right. So where can people find you next? Where are you headed to after this? What's the next con?
Next con will be LuxCon in Reading, Pennsylvania. It's a fantasy illustrator convention where it's artists, it's collectors of art, and it's art students. And there are seminars, discussions. Basically, it's a feel-good environment for if you are interested in imaginative realism, which is what is fantasy art today, where you have the imaginative realism.
I learned the art term now today. Imaginative realism. I like that. Yeah. It's very nice.
And if you are interested in making that kind of art or working in the industry, you go to a LuxCon and you will meet the people who are working in that industry today.
Fantastic. Yeah. There are young artists all over the World Wide Web waiting to be discovered, waiting to be professional artists. Mm-hmm. One piece of advice from a guy that's been doing it a long time.
Okay.
What would that be?
Well, it's a multi-part. First, determine what is your passion. What do you want to make more than anything else? Mm-hmm. You find out the company or the person who wants to buy that type of work, who makes that work. Mm-hmm. Then you look at the work that they are using, and then you work on your own work and make sure that it is as good, preferably better, than the work that they're using, and then you're good.
Master your skill.
Yep, master your skill.
Master your skill.
And then you do that, and then you get tired of that, and then you go make your own stuff, and you create your own work.
Awesome advice. Awesome advice. Okay, we have to wrap it up. They're telling me back there. So as